You're listening to the legendary podcaster, the one, the only, T-Jam D. Your personal favorite, and the show you've been waiting for. Probably offensive.
Welcome to another episode of Probably Offensive. I am your host, Anthony Scott Dover. Welcome back to anybody, if there is anybody, I'm wondering, I don't know, who listens to this podcast every week. If you are listening to this podcast, even if you only listen to it once or twice or whatever, but if you're listening to this podcast every week, yeah, thank you. Congratulations. You have good taste in your listening pleasure. So, anyway, let's get on with it. Gonna stick with the COVID updates until we don't need to do that anymore. So far, I never thought we'd get up to these type of numbers. I know a lot of you don't believe that the COVID is real and that the numbers are fake and everything's fake. Everything's fake. The whole world's fake. We're not even existing, by the way. But we're over 5 million cases of COVID in the U.S. That's not a misspeak. 5 million cases and 162,000 deaths from COVID. And that, ladies and gentlemen, it's what's been reported. That this is where we are right now in the pandemic era. So I didn't think we'd get up this far before the 5 million cases or 162,000 deaths, but not before they get a vaccine. I thought we'd have a vaccine before it got that far. I mean, I didn't actually believe the president when he said we only got 15 cases and it'll be down to 0 very soon. And he keeps sticking with this narrative that this virus is just going to go away. No, it's not, Mr. President. No, it's not. You're going to go away before it goes away, Junior. That's just the way it is, okay? The virus is not going to just go away. The common cold didn't just go away. It's not killing people that I know of. But once it's here to stay. It doesn't go away until humans go away. There's always going to be someone on the earth who has this virus, this strand of coronavirus. So he just doesn't want to admit that he was wrong. That's the only reason that he's saying it's just going to go away. No, it's not. It's not going to just go away. Why don't you just shut up? It's just going to go away. No, it ain't. Even when they get the vaccine, there's always going to be someone who has it. So it didn't just go away. We need to get it under control. And saying, oh, we have it under control. We have it under control. No, you don't. No, we don't. Half the people in the U.S. don't even believe it's real. So we can't have it under control because some of the people feel like this is just a ploy to get the president out of office. But he's doing that all on his own because things come up. Doesn't have to be a conspiracy by the Democrats or the deep state. Things happen in life. You know what I'm saying? If you step off the curb, you could twist your ankle. If you're not looking, you could get hit by a car. Things happen in life. It's all about how you handle it. Or do you put yourself in a position for bad things to happen? Because me, I don't believe in karma. I think I'm one of the only people in the world who doesn't believe in karma. I don't think there's any mystical, magical powers that's going to cause something bad to happen to you if you do something bad to someone else. Something bad is going to happen to you no matter if you do something bad to someone else or not, okay? There's no karma. The reason something bad is going to happen to you is because of it's out of your control, or it's because you put yourself in a bad position. Like I said, if you step off the curb without looking and you get hit by a car, that's not karma. You got hit because you weren't looking and you knew better. You're an adult. Even if you're a kid, don't be crossing the street if you don't know. You haven't been taught by your parents or whoever how to look both ways, and you need to look both ways several times if you're a kid, not just once. But you know, it's like the weather. You could get hit by a storm of some kind: ice, rain, snow, sleet, hail, tornadoes, you know, hurricanes. And that's out of your control. So it's not karma. And bad stuff is going to happen to you. Even if you're an intelligent person, you get foresight, you can see things coming from a mile away. Sometimes, you know, something is still going to happen to you. Hopefully you're smart enough to keep yourself out of positions to where bad stuff can happen, and then you say, oh, that's just bad luck. No, it's not. That was your stupidity. That was your stupidity. You put yourself in a bad position. Shouldn't have done that. Please don't ever do that again. That's all. So, yeah, I don't believe in karma. I don't think there's no such thing as karma. I can't even believe that there's so many people that believe in that. There's so many people. But I should understand it because there's so many people who believe in all kind of nonsense. People believe in a lot of things that are completely stupid, and they have no proof that it exists or scientific backing or anything. Just something spooky I believe in. You should call Coast to Coast that comes on in the middle of the night. They talk about all the spooky nonsense. I used to listen to that show. Your host name is George Norrie. They talk about weird stuff. Stuff that don't actually exist. But George Norrie, he never says that to the listeners or the the people who call the show. Yeah, so all you conspiracy theorists, that is growing too. The conspiracy theorists are growing exponentially, and that's unfortunate because that just means you're losing your mind if you start believing in ridiculous conspiracies. The lizard men. There are no lizard men. I hate to say it, and I know this to some people is offensive. That's why I named the show this, because I'm saying stuff that shouldn't be offensive, but it is to some people. Some people are crazy. So that's why they're so offended, because they're nut jobs, and that's offensive for me to say it to some people. But I am saying it. But anyway, we're going to go take a short break. Don't go away. Stick with the podcast. It's one hell of a podcast. Maybe. I think. Could be. We'll be right back. Right after this.
You're listening to a man who's so sexy it's completely ridiculous. Mr. Anthony Scott Dover. Yummy.
Yes, she's right. It's completely ridiculous. We're back. Obviously, you can hear the sound of my voice, so we're back from that short break. Apparently, there were some astronauts that returned to Earth, and I didn't even know that we had a mission out there. But I was watching the news and they said some astronauts. I don't know. A lot of people don't even pay attention to this stuff. With all the crazy stuff that does go on in the world, stuff like this doesn't even register anymore on the scale. Astronauts coming back. And half of the people, like I said, with all the conspiracy theories going on these days, half the people don't even believe astronauts have been to space, or at least not to the moon. They think there's a big ice wall around Earth. That sounds dumb. There's a big ice wall. There's a big ice wall around the Earth because it's flat, and that's what keeps the water from running off the Earth. Yeah, that's stupid. That's not true and dumb. Not true and dumb. But anyway, they were talking about astronauts. I catch, things here and there. And the media wasn't even making a big deal out of it, so I guess maybe it's this election cycle and all the crazy stuff that the president is saying about mail fraud and move the election, different things that somebody, going into space is no big deal. But I wanted to talk just for a second, about Herman Cain. For those of you who don't know who Herman Cain is, he's a political pundit. He was a Republican. He was a black man. He was a Republican, and he was a supporter of the President Trump. Herman Cain died from COVID-19, the coronavirus, the corona on the bona virus. Herman Cain died from it. Now, I know you're thinking, so what? Who the hell is Herman Cain, and who cares? It's not that Herman Cain died from COVID, but I seen this thing on Facebook where a guy that I know, who shall remain nameless because I don't want to put him out there like that, because what he said was based in ignorance. But he said, "Oh yeah, this thing is political. Herman Cain died, and they're talking about how he died from COVID. And then when John Lewis died, nobody said anything about COVID." I'm like, that's because he didn't die from COVID, man. I mean, of course, there's a lot of, there's a lot of politics going on right now, but they're not going to say John Lewis died from COVID because he didn't test positive for COVID. He was tested more than once, actually, but he was negative all the times he was tested. And Herman Cain announced himself that he had tested positive